Hey, we are rolling now. It's Bellinger?
Yes, it is.
Where are you from?
I'm from Troy.
And you've been doing taxidermy a couple years. And look at this. Do you just do a few mounts like this, or do you like this artistic?
I love the artistic end of it. Love it.
But you do it full time?
Full time.
How do you make money being an artist too?
It's tough. It's tough. But once you get the exposure, that's the hardest part about the business. But if you do a good job, word of mouth goes a long ways.
Yeah, it never hurts to be on television too, telling about your taxidermy work and showing the turkey you did. Now this turkey, it has hairs.
Right.
That coming out. Where do those hairs come from?
From the turkey.
Which turkey has more hairs? I guess I need to phrase that a little differently.
It's
See,
a
this
real
is
head. It's a real head.
this is the real head?
Yes. It's a freeze-dried head.
Okay, you see, I thought it was a mold, and sometimes they do
You
the
can't-
mold and
yes.
pull the hairs out with
Right.
the mold.
Right. I'm sure that people have done, but I still haven't found anybody that can really, out of a plastic head, make it look real like that.
Wow, this was freeze-dried. Do you have a freeze dryer, or you send it out?
No, I send it out.
Do you? Maybe Doug Tabor and I could freeze dry our heads, and then keep that
Mine
hair.
too.
Oh,
Mine
yours
too.
is okay. That is a beautiful mount, though, and the rest of it is not freeze-dried, just on a
Right,
mannequin.
absolutely.
That is terrific.
Thank you.
1-inch spurs. It has how long is the beard?
9.5 inch.
9.5 inches. Well, congratulations on that, David.
Thank you.
Super mount. Way to go. Yep. And this belongs to the turkey too. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. Well, thank you, David.
Thank you.
Interesting. Chad, come on up here, Chad. Now, this is interesting. This is from what I have in the story. Waiting for. Oh, okay. From what I heard in the story, this is a 13-year-old kid, Chad Keister,
Yeah.
who's out there hunting with a police riot gun. That's what you put in your story here, Chad. He's out there with a riot gun, but you see his stepdad is a sheriff,
Yeah.
right? So it all starts fitting together. That's what you use when. And 4:30 in the morning. Did your stepdad wake you up?
Yeah.
Okay, to go turkey hunting because you had to get to school.
Yeah.
Okay, you just say yeah, and I'll do the rest of the story. So tell me about this. You got out there in the blind, and what's the first thing you did?
Fell asleep.
Okay, good. You were honest about that. You did. For how long?
Oh, maybe 2 hours.
Well, that's good. Catching up. What'd you stay up and watch Letterman the night before, or what?
No.
It must have been a comfortable day. When was this? This was, mid-May. Oh, birds tweeting, sun coming out.
Yeah.
Real nice. And you're there with a riot gun. Describe this gun here. This is a Remington 870, but it's a police gun.
Yeah.
He knows all the right answers. Okay, after you got your nap, your 2-hour nap, you awoke, and what was going on?
There's turkeys around me.
And your stepdad, where was he?
Off to the right of me.
Okay, so you were in different blinds.
Yeah.
Did he know you were asleep?
No.
What would he have said if you were, if he knew it?
I don't know.
You see, you're not old enough to snore. But it sounds like you've got a good snoring career ahead of you. You'll fit right in our hunting camp, I'll tell you that. So the turkeys were all around you, and then what'd you do?
Watched them for a little bit.
With one eye and then both eyes open? And you pick out the biggest one?
Yep.
Took it with the riot gun. Read it its rights. Huh? But you went and picked it up all by yourself and
Yeah.
came back, jumped in the car. Was it a squad car you took out there?
No.
Okay, just wondering. Just be kind of cool. And you made it back in time to school.
Yep.
And did the other kids believe that you were out getting a turkey that morning and
No.
with a riot gun? 13 years old? I like it. That's America, isn't it? Boy and his riot gun. I like it. And the people here like it too. You know, when people say that there's no use for guns like that, there are sporting uses for a lot of those, and they're kind of fun to use. Congratulations, dude. You can go take a nap now. Chad Keister, boy after my heart. Oh, and oh, make it quick. These things are heavy.
Turkey's flock.
You should have done it with its mouth open. I could have seen all the way through. Hey, these are nice mounts. Who did these?
Foiling taxidermy.
Okay, and yours is on a base of birch tree. Yep. Now, you guys were hunting together. We'll get right to the story here. You're up in Lake County, well, Lake and Mason County. I thought you guys were hunting together you were hunting together the same day. Yeah. Which was the first one that was taken?
This one. Right this one.
This one. Okay, so you were out gobbling your little heads off out in the woods, and how did it work?
Well, we were crow calling initially.
Here, get around here so we can see you. So you were crow calling.
To locate the birds, yeah.
Did you locate them?
Initially just the one.
Okay, but you called and you were out in the woods, as I understand it, no good. You came back You came back to camp?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we came back, went back out, called, no luck, went back out, called, just kept going back and forth, and finally we had a bird come into us.
Okay, but didn't this happen at camp when you were getting back and just horsing around?
Well, actually, it's my house where it happened at. His bird we shot at my house. This one we shot at my dad's house.
Oh, I see.
Two different hunts, what they were. This bird we shot on a Saturday, and that bird we shot on the Sunday, the last day.
Okay, and which one did you shoot by the sandbox, and which one was under the swing set?
They were by the corn feeder, Fred. And not the same.
No, they really weren't.
No, they really weren't.
House was sort of base camp, and you were working out from there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you guys were horsing around with the calls, and that's how you lucked upon this one.
That was this one here.
That was this one?
Yeah, this was the last day of the hunt, and we had located about 7 gobblers earlier in that day. We couldn't get any to come in, so we started goofing around with the box call. We just flipped it over, and we were imitating the gobble, and we kind of made the comment to each other how pathetic it sounded, and we said, "Boy, a turkey'd really have to be hard up to come into this." Well, this is the result of the hard up turkey, yeah.
So you were goofing off, and it gobbled back.
And it gobbled back.
You grabbed your guns and got serious.
Well, actually, the first bird that came in was not the bird that I took. It came into about 20 yards and was behind some thick stuff, and I couldn't shoot. And this bird came in to rival it, and he came running in, and I had to shoot this one off to my right.
I'll be darned.
Being a right-handed shooter, it was a little difficult.
Good. Well, good
The
story.
part of the story was after he shot, he went to get up to go get his bird, and I looked over because I called this bird into him, and he was flat on his face, spread eagle.
He was?
Yeah. He has a bad habit of sitting on his leg, and his leg fell asleep. So I looked at him, I said, "Bubba, get the bird." "I can." He goes, "Go get it." So I had to go get it.
Because your leg was asleep.
My leg fell asleep when I went to get up. I went, poof, flat on my face. I was picking leaves out of my mouth. I'm yelling, "Get the bird, get the bird."
Funny how you didn't write that down in the story.
Well,
And we had to rely on your buddy here to tell it.
yeah, well, some of those things you want to leave out. Yeah.
Okay, could we have an attendant here to take Bubba back to his table? We'll get somebody to walk you back. Congratulations, Bubba.
Thank you.
Good work. Good work, guys. Very good. Ryan and Jeremy Ralph. So you're 17-year-old. Ryan Ralph and your brother Jeremy, both of you have hunted together. And you thought you were pretty hot stuff when you got this bird with a 10-inch beard.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you being the older brother.
Yeah, this is my second one. So we shot it in the same tree, it turned out, a week later, but he was hunting in the same spot, shot the exact same spot.
Huh. And you are how old?
13.
13. And your bird, the beard was how long?
10.5 inches long.
What do you mean? What are you making a face for? You wrote in your story that, this was pretty cool, and my little brother, got one that was a little bigger. But you're real proud of your little brother getting one bigger, aren't you?
Yeah, he did a good job.
Well, that's good. And we know that for sure that it's 10.5 inches, because how many times did you measure that? How many times did you call for a remeasurement?
I didn't call for a rematch.
You didn't? I bet. Yeah, that's like a brother. Measure, remeasure. You guys are quite a team. Your second turkey and your first one, 10-inch beards. Most turkey hunters never get one that big ever. Congratulations. There's the Ralph boys. Ryan and Jeremy. Oh, yes, okay. Right here. Okay, but don't hold that right in front of your face here. You do have a practical tip. You got this Montcalm County, May 6th, 6:20 in the morning. Called it in, had a decoy out there. Were you set? You're using a New England Arms single shot, 10 gauge, everything ready to go, 32-inch barrel. Bird comes in, and what happens?
I swung my gun around and hit a little sapling, and the tree went doing, just as he was coming behind this tree. And he didn't come back out behind the tree then.
He didn't?
No.
How long was it before he came out?
Seemed like a half hour, but was probably only 5 minutes probably.
And he came out. Do you think if you had like a 28-inch barrel or 26, that you wouldn't hit the tree?
Right, yeah. 32-inch barrel.
I know that's the one that you had.
Yeah, yeah,
Is a 32-inch barrel practical?
yes.
Why?
Because you got a full choke, extra full choke.
Well, you can get that in a 26-inch barrel.
Can you? Well, then I guess not then.
Yeah, you could get that barrel shortened. But that must have surprised you a lot when you hit that tree.
Yes.
Did you say anything to yourself?
No, I wasn't thinking about something to myself. I was just waiting for that turkey to come out.
And he finally did.
He just stuck his head out and neck and looked around like that and
And you got him.
got him right
Way
in the
to
head.
go. Well, you can make your own determination of a 32-inch barrel if it's really worth it. Maybe turkey hunting. Who knows?
Yeah.
Congratulations. He got the bird, though. Tim Allsworth, a 10 3/4-inch beard. Bob Austin, inch beard. Just have pictures.
Just pictures,
Where's
yeah.
the bird?
It's on the wall. The bird's in
Okay.
there. It's been 8.
The bird has been 8.
This is the results.
Very good. Here, we'll get this picture here. Let's see. Just an 11-inch beard. That's why I wanted to talk with you. What did you know that the beard was that long when it came up there?
Well, I had 2 toms coming in, and I was aiming for the smaller of the 2, I guess. And I noticed the one on the left was a little bigger, so I switched over to him and took him. I had decoys out. They were with 2 hens.
How many decoys?
I had 2. One to my left and one to my right, and they were coming down a 2-track.
Were they both hen decoys?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the effect, do you think, of 2 hen decoys? Is it,
Well, they only seen the one. They had crossed the 2-track. The hens had went across, and the toms were strutting out in the 2-track. Then I called to them, and the hens, they came right back out of the woods. When they saw that decoy, they came right after it.
and then the toms came after the live hens?
Yeah, they were following their live hens. They just followed wherever they went.
Well, very good. So it is practical to put a couple decoys out.
I believe so.
Well, very good. Bob Austin, a good tip. And it worked for an 11-inch beard. Thank you, Bob. Scott Baldwin. And the notable thing about this is it has an 11.5-inch beard. That's the longest beard and a thick beard at that. There's the spurs. It doesn't look like, well, how old was that bird? Any idea?
I have no idea.
Probably well fed. Doesn't look like huge spurs. But what's the story behind this one?
Well, it wasn't much of a story, really. I'd watched a young Jake come in from quite a ways out, and as it started getting closer, I had my scope on it, and I was waiting to get a shot at that. Well, the gun got so heavy that I had to let it down for a minute to wait for that bird, and when I did, I saw this one come out of the fence row. Well, I forgot all about the Jake after
No
that.
kidding. Well, that's super. May 23rd, 11.5-inch beard, Scott Baldwin, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good work. That's the biggest turkey we've had here tonight. Now we have one, Michael, how do you pronounce that, Schoen? Mike Schoen. Okay. Here's a man who can stand here in front of a big hunting audience, hold up the hen that he got during the spring season. Now, some people would say it's not legal to shoot hens.
You can take any bearded bird.
A bearded bird. Here we have the beard on this. That's a pretty good-sized beard, too. What is it, about 6 inches? Or?
I think it might be a little better than 6, but that's what I called the taxidermist. He says, oh, it's 6 inches, I think, so.
But you can tell, obviously, the head on this doesn't look like any of the other gobblers. Bluish head. Now, you knew it was a hen when it was coming in?
No, there's a lot of birds in the tree, and as they came off roost, there's nothing coming, and I just, there was 2 hens left, and I knew there was 1 tom left, and I just started hen talking, figuring I'll just get her irritated, and she got real loud, and when it come down the ground, I thought, well, they were coming my way, and as she come over the hill, she was just kind of eating away, and I thought, oh, so that tom will be right behind her, and I had decoys about the middle of the hill, and she started down the hill a little bit. She was probably 20 yards away, and all of a sudden she noticed the decoys and put her head up, and when she put her head up, I seen the beard on her, and I thought, oh, that's good enough right there, because I've got a big tom already, and that's a trophy there, so I'll take that.
It is. That's unusual. Now, did you eat this hen?
Not yet.
Not yet, but you're going to.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay, well, that's an interesting story. This is what a bearded hen looks like. Very interesting. Mike Schoen, congratulations. Thanks for having that mounted and bringing it down.
Oh, yeah.
An oddity in the turkey world. That's the turkeys.
Here's the bear.
Bear skull. You, John? John Harks? Harkus? Yeah, right there.
Right there?
But this is kind of different. With bears, they're judged in a lot of the international trophy books by the skull rather than by the weight. Of course, we go by weight in our program just because it's easy. You have to have the skull boiled, do a weighting.
1 to 12, no problem.
Just lost a
Old age.
tooth.
Old age.
Well, now that's interesting. Take a look at this tooth. This is it's fairly well worn down.
I figured this bear was about 18 years old.
No kidding.
Yeah,
It weighed 320 pounds.
yeah, plus the innards. And they figured it would have weighed close to 400 pounds with the blood in it.
And you got this up in Ontario.
Yeah, Geraldton, Ontario. It was spring bear. They figured-
And how does this score, like in the record books, as far as the skull goes?
well, if I'd been with Bo, I would have been halfway up the record books. It takes 21 inches to make with Boone and Crockett.
I'll be darned.
And I was 19 and 7/16.
19 and 7/16. That's a big bear.
So he had an exceptionally short nose on him. For a bear, it was a short nose, but he had wide head. They said he would have weighed about 550 in the fall.
Yeah, that's a big boy. Well, here you go, and I'll tell you what. There's a tooth from that bear. I just picked it up off the floor. Congratulations, John Harkus. Interesting, a bear skull. David Hale. Geez, you were hunting with a 45-70.
Yep,
Oh, I see. You're in traditional garb here. Hold it up about like that. Black Bear Lodge.
like Kit Carson.
Yeah, that's you like to hunt that traditional style?
Yep.
You hunt with bait. You were hunting over bait.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about this, hunting a bear that's 430 pounds.
Well, my brother passed him up the night before. He come in, he watched him for about 40 minutes. Stand up, Denny. You can tell him about it too.
Cast up a 430-pound bear?
Well, he didn't think he was big enough. So we got back to camp that night, and I hadn't been seeing anything, so he said, well, let's switch baits. So that was fine with me. So I walked back in the next day, and I walked right up on him. I never even found the tree stand even. I walked right up 13 yards. And
he was at the bait?
He'd already finished the bait up, and he was taking a nap. I walked right up on him.
Now, how did you feel as soon as you saw that bear when you walked up?
I thought, my God, I finally found a bear.
I mean, did it startle you at all? Were you a little...
I didn't have a chance to. I had a boat cushion in my left hand. I laid that down, and while I was laying that down, I was cocking the rifle. And pulled up, and as he started to get up, I drilled him.
Wasn't it a little scary? You were on the ground right next to him?
Not till I started reloading the rifle.
You mean you just had one shot?
No, I had 3 in it.
Oh, okay. So you shot 3 times?
I put 3 in him. When I got back to camp that night, the guys asked me, and they says, how many times did you shoot him? I said 3 times. They said, why'd you shoot him so many times? I says, because I didn't have 4 in it.
Yeah, I could see that. You were like 13 yards away?
I paced it off, and I was 13 yards away.
Yeah, I think you did well. Congratulations, David Hale.
Thank you.
Good story. Greg Hilarides? Hilarides. Hilarides. You got this one up in Ontario. Boy, that's a That's a big bear. 600 pounds?
Yeah, they guesstimate around 600 pounds.
Right, well, with a 300 mag. Tree stand. You can hunt from trees up there.
Yeah, all the baited stands are tree stands.
So how do you like that? Michigan is the only state in the country that doesn't allow hunting with a gun from a tree.
I think that's foolish. Actually, it gives you a big advantage. We've hunted deer in Indiana and other states, hunted from trees, and you can see a lot better from up there, you know.
Well, yeah, you can see, so that's an advantage, but what about the safety side? Everybody says it's not safe.
Oh, you know, I think it's safe if you pull it, you know, take the shells out of the gun, you bring the gun up the tree.
Do you take it up on a rope like you do a bow?
Yeah, just make sure that the muzzle is pointed down, of course.
Yeah, and being unloaded.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, but you like hunting from a tree,
Oh yeah,
and you like being up in that tree when that 600-pound bear was on the ground.
definitely.
Okay, well, that's good. How do you pronounce that name again?
Hilarious.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, well, very good. Thank you for the tips on bear hunting from trees. Yeah, most states do. Give them a round of applause for that. Now we have one. Oh, we have a Michigan bear. Michigan bear, Ontonagon County. Ted Sielski? Selski. And you were hunting with a Weatherby 300. Where are you from, Ted?
Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids. There's the bear. Here's the skull. That one has kind of a small nose too. If you're not versed in, those are nice big canine teeth. How old was this bear? Do you know?
6 years old.
Fairly young one. You got it up in Ontonagon. You were hunting over bait.
Yes.
I'm a ground blind. 8 o'clock in the morning. What's it like to have a bear that size coming in?
I've waited about 15 years for him to come in. My partner is not here tonight, and we've hunted together about 12, 13 years. And we've always hunted in the evening, so the next day we decided, well, we're going to get up in the morning. Well, I set the alarm at 6, and I fell asleep. We got up at 7. So I grabbed my rifle, and he grabbed his sidearm. So we just drove up, and it's about a 35-minute walk in. So it was getting late, and I looked down at the bait, and I didn't see anything, so we just walked down. We hunt together in the blind. And I sat down, I threw my hat down, I picked my head up, and up he came. And the wind was swirling, and I thought I was going to lose him. And he turned sideways, and I hit him. And he flinched, and he took off running. So we waited about 25 minutes, and I went down, and I didn't see any blood. I thought, oh, I lost him. So I tracked the area, and about 50 yards down, I seen one of his paw prints. So I went down, and we walked about another 35 yards down, and there he was laying on a knoll looking at me. And he was still alive. So my partner was next to me, and he says, shoot him. And I didn't want to. I was going to wait for him to die. And he got up, and he turned around, and he looked to go downhill, and he looked at me, and he got up, and then I shot him again. Well, he rolled over, and he was still alive. So we walked up about another 35 yards, and he got up again. He was still looking at us. And so my partner shot him in the shoulder, and he still didn't die. And he...
Are you guys cops?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Every time the DNR, they have a deer or something they got to shoot, they bring out guys like you. Okay, now go ahead with the story.
So anyway, he finally expired, and then we drug him about 5 yards, and that was it. So we went and got a couple other buddies, and we dressed him out there, and it took us about 2.5 hours to carry him out. So.
And the good news is you didn't have to go to the sporting goods store in between to get some more shells.
That's correct.
Okay, well, good. That's what a story. Ontonagon County got it with a Weatherby 300 and somewhere close to a 500-pound bear. Congratulations, Ted Selski.
Thank you.
Yeah, we needed a 13-year-old with a riot gun there. That's what we needed. Okay. We got to be rolling now. John, you can start on a close-up of this.
Got it.
Now, this is a deer for Western hunters or people familiar with Western deer. You'll recognize this. This is actually what they kind of call a cactus buck. A somewhat deformed rack here of a mule deer. Of course, they're still in the velvet a lot of times out west when you hunt them. think.
Well, not at this time of the year. This was the end of October when I took this one. But the fact that this was a stag deer, and that's without its genetics, it's an it.
Also,
And-
it wasn't a boy and it wasn't a girl.
Yeah, well, it had organs, but they were super small and didn't have all the hormones and everything else to go along with it.
Security guard.
And that's why they get so funky looking as they do. You know, they don't get the natural hormones to go into the rub and scraping and all of that. You know, they don't care about the other sex, you might say. And this particular one, you know, you can see how the teeth are
They're
just
very worn.
worn right down. There's estimates anywhere from 9 years to 12 years old on that deer because they were worn down on the original deer right down to gum level.
Did you have any idea when this deer came up that it was a
Stag?
a stag?
No.
Neither a boy nor a girl. There was nothing in the way it walked or anything.
It was just standing there and just
I'm
standing
not
there.
trying to be stereotypical. I'm just trying to get some data here. So it walked normally, didn't have any lilt or anything.
No. It just looked like a normal deer, but I had my scope power down really low because brush we were hunting in, and this is one of those areas that nobody ever hunts. The reason for it is about 1 deer per square mile. So you just never see any hunters hunting there. So we decided to hunt there, figuring our chances for a Boone and Crockett deer would be about the best at that kind of territory. And saw 2 deers in the first 4 day is all we ever saw. And saw this one on the 6th day, and I had my scope on low power because of the brush, and looked down there and you can see it a little bit here, and then I saw this one thing and I said, well, 6 days, there's my first deer in the scope. And I'd never get another chance to shoot a non-typical and decided to shoot. But I didn't know it was this until I got up to it and it was about 20 feet away from it, and then I saw what it was, and I'd seen one other before that somebody made, rancher castrated one and got it to grow horns like this, so.
I'd be darned. Well, that, of course, the answer to the puzzle is Brian Maidosh was hunting in an area that had no bucks per square mile and no does per square mile. Yet he got this deer. How did he do it?
Luck.
Wasn't a buck and it wasn't a doe.
It was just plain luck.
It was just a deer. This is a plain old deer. Well, I'm glad that you brought this down here. That's an interesting story. Indeed. Otherwise, it looks relatively normal.
Well, nature would usually kill something of this nature, wouldn't allow it to live because it couldn't reproduce, but there wasn't enough deer in that area for mountain lions to live or anything else. So that's how it kind of survived and grew that old. No hunting pressure, no normal, predators or anything to feed, so that's where it is.
Interesting story. Thank you, Brian. Very good. Our stag hunter of the evening. Boy, that kind of brings a new interpretation to the term stag night. You guys, let's have stag night. There's banquet. This was it. This was the buck, a 19-pointer. Tex Dismuke from Almont got this. Go ahead, Tex. We want to hear the story one more time.
Well, it was kind of simple. I missed a spike opening day. I was sitting in my blind, had my gun laying down, had to reach all the way across, right over, and I actually had to shoot sideways rather than point straight on at it.
No kidding. So when you saw this buck, wasn't your heart kind of fluttering, or didn't you know it was this big?
Oh, I knew it was that big, but there was a few more things fluttering besides my heart.
You're cute. No. What else was fluttering, Tex?
My
I haven't heard that
legs,
part.
my
Your legs?
chest.
Okay.
My arms.
So, no, you were, did it shake you up tremendously to see this?
Oh, yes. Looked like a walking tree.
Man, so you could see, what was it doing as it was walking? Was it have its head down,
Well,
up?
its head was up and down at all given time, and it looked like he was steady just looking right in there.
Was he looking at you? Or?
I don't think he ever seen me.
Man, so it was a fairly simple story on this.
Oh, it was simple.
How was your season this year?
I missed another good sized one.
Anything close to this?
It wasn't nothing like this, but it's still been a good keeper.
The spot that you got this one in, is that where you hunted this year?
Exact same spot, and my partner that hunted along with me missed it too.
Is that right? So you're going to hunt that spot probably the rest of your life.
I hope so.
Okay. Well, good. This is the man, Texas Muke, with a 19-point buck. It was the biggest buck of the year in 1992. Made Boone and Crockett.
Oh, yes.
All the
210 and
records.
1/8. All the records.
210 and 1/8. Right here it is. Big round of applause for Tex. We're sure glad to have him down here. Thank you, Tex. How old are you?
19.
19 years old. And are you going to have this a full mount or full head mount? Or
From the chest forward, probably, with a sneak position.
any story to go with it?
Well, first of all, we didn't use a guide, which that makes it real nice and more traditional, I guess.
Makes it nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
More
say that
challenging.
now. Yeah, sure.
But, well, we started off opening morning. I got it and started off, and we saw 9 cows right off at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then we searched out more, and then we saw a 4x4, and then we saw this one after we got up to the 4x4 when we started on the stalk. We got up there. And,
So you stalked this one.
yeah, when we found the 4x4,
Huh.
then we saw this one here.
Well, very good. 19-year-old man with a 6x6. That's a nice rack. That was up in Montmorency County. Congratulations. Can you shake on that one?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go. Good man. It doesn't always turn out 12 points.
Gun is kind of interesting. We won that gun for $20.
In a raffle?
Yeah, they had a raffle at the shop. I won the gun. Guys were after me turning for an elk permit, and we decided the very last day to go get an elk permit. We turned it in. A couple weeks later, I get a registered letter in the mail. You probably know about them.
Oh,
I said,
very
"This-
funny.
This cannot be good, right? So I wait and I wait. Letter says you only got so many days. Very last day, I go pick up the permit. I go there and tell the guy, I said, I want to see it before I get it. Oh, no. He shows it to them, but they shake their head, they walk away. I said, oh, man, I get it. I said, what'd I do? DNR, that's not good. Opened it up, it was great. So we went up there and we looked around for a couple of days, didn't see anything. Finally, they pointed this one field, and there's 8 bulls in one field. And it was right on the edge of Canada Creek Ranch. And they're like dancing back and forth on the wire. First they're in state, then they're back. Well, the next day we got hooked up with our guide. Right after about 8:15, we pulled into the field. There's 3 bulls, and we took the biggest one of the 3.
Awesome. Well, very good. Yeah, you get the registered letter with the bull permit. I get lots of registered letters with lots of bull.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Jim Iman. Ernie DeSantis. Ernie DeSantis was hunting Otsego County with a 30-17, and were you hunting with a guide?
Yeah.
Okay, and you went out there. You're using a 30-06, which is a pretty good standard all-around big game cartridge. Let's see, Jan Morse is doing this up in Houghton Lake, eh?
Yeah.
Well, very good.
Taxidermy.
Well, very good. Any particular short story to go with it?
Well, it's just kind of funny because we were watching this, 6x6 and was with his harem, and it started going the other way. And my guide said, let's get going. So we start running out of the woods, and Dwayne, he's a big guy. He's a big guy. So
go ahead. How big is a big guy?
Well, I don't want to say anything right now, but I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. But
hurt anyone's feelings? I mean.
But so we're running out of the woods.
Was he bigger than the elk?
Well, not that big, but
okay.
He was good size. So we're running out.
Well,
of
he's
the
under
woods.
500.
Yeah, and he falls, and then I fall and bust a few twigs, and we finally crossed the road, and this big boy came out on the right on the dirt road and ran down a trail a little and got him.
What a deal. Ernie DeSantis. Yeah, I guess so. There it is, a 6x6 home of the elk with a 7mm mag.
How you doing, Fred?
Well, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Not bad.
What's the quick story on it?
Quick story was I went up there on a Wednesday for the meeting. It was a real good meeting put on by the DNR. I was surprised. As you know, the DNR usually aren't on top of things.
Hey, well, I tell you, their meetings are great.
Yeah, their meetings were great.
They got their meetings down pat.
But we went out, and the first 3 days, I was told I'd have no problem finding a bull. Seen nothing. bunch of cows. They said the cow hunters were having the problems, the bull hunters were bringing them in left and right. I seen all cows. The last day I was there, we were walking a fence line, seen 4 spikes out in the corner of the field, and I, scoping in on the biggest one. 4 more came into the field. So I'm looking for the biggest one out of that, trying to pick the biggest one. 6 more came out of the woods, and that's when he came out with the rest of the spikes. They were all bulls.
Okay.
And I took him 1 shot through the lungs, turned away, lined up on the base of his spine, took another shot, and that was it.
Well, awesome. Well, I'm glad you had quite a successful hunt.
Yeah.
And it all started off with a great meeting with the DNR. That's terrific. What an all-around time. Good. Steve Fargo. That's no problem. A little different color than the other antlers that have been up here.
Lighter, yeah.
What do you make of that?
Well, he smelled just like Lysol when he fell down. He'd been rubbing on pine trees, so.
Oh, I thought maybe you shot him around the campground there and he knocked over a...
No, he
whatever.
was kind of like the other guy, It seemed like everybody said, oh, this is going to be a cake hunt. It wasn't no cake hunt. I shot him on the 4th day and hunted my butt off, trying to do it, so.
Huh. I'll be darned. Well, that is interesting. So that was a pine tree rubber.
Yeah.
That got this.
He's still got a lot of pine sap in him. You can see a lot of pine sap.
Yeah, well, I tell you, these are massive antlers, too. You can almost just get your hand around that. And that is a 6x6 Wolverine.
Yep.
Well, very good. No more Lysol. Skeel County, Winchester 7 mag again. Any particular story with this?
Well, first of all, my wife was mad at me when I got the permit.
Oh, okay.
And she got a cow permit 3 years ago, and she's wondering why I got a bull and she didn't.
And what did you explain? How'd you explain that?
I haven't yet.
Oh, okay.
But
hey, that's pretty amazing, though, that even in one family you get 2 permits.
a lot of the people up north were quite upset too.
Mhm.
They've been putting in all the time and can't get anything. But I let 3 smaller bulls go the first day, and then I went 3 days without seeing an elk. So I got to wondering if I'd done the right thing.
Mhm.
And it finally snowed, and they started moving on Saturdays. So.
A little bit of a fiasco. We got the message from the DNR that I had been selected to win. My wife happened to bring the registered letter to my place of work and with some other stuff, and I opened it up and look, and it's like, holy cow, I cannot believe I actually won elk hunt. And my wife at this time was about 6-7 months pregnant. And I look on the thing, and it says, I won the September 7th elk hunt, which is the first time they've ran one on September 7th. And I'm thinking, man, that is a really familiar date. So I said, Linda, this is on September 7th. And I see her face go from one of joy with me to one somewhat less joyful. That was the exact date that she was due. So we kind of looked at each other, and she's looking for what am I going to do about this? And bottom line is we decided I had a cellular phone and I had a beeper. And, last one, this is our second child that we're expecting. Last one took about 12, 14 hours. So I'm thinking, well, I'm only about 3 or 4 hours away. Maybe, use that beeper, get into this high technology, and we can make this thing happen. And
we really can, dear.
We can.
It'll work.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
And, at length, we talked about that. She decided, hey, let's do this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Real sweetheart, and she said, hey, this is important. Let's get this done, and besides the chances of this happening on that exact date, what's the chance? So the day before the hunt, we have to go to this DNR's class that they have in order to get your tag. So I'm all set to go, got the alarm set for 6 in the morning. I'm going to head up there with my dad. Half an hour before I'm ready to get up, she's tapping me on the shoulder, and I'm looking over at the alarm thinking, 5:30, geez, Linda, I've got another half an hour to go here. And she's saying, Chris, my water broke. And it's like, oh, no. Tell me, any day but now. It can't happen now.
You didn't go into the cellular phone routine.
No, the cellular phone thing was out. This is history by this point. So I want you to know I did the right thing.
I took her to the hospital. I thought my elk hunt's gone, and we're at the hospital, and I'm thinking, the DNR, they've got to cut me some slack on this one. This is about as big as it gets. So I called them up and said, look, is there any way we can do this? I can't get there today. And they said, well, if you can get here the next morning, we'll do it for you special, put you through the class. So then my wife is in labor, and she's in labor and in labor and in labor, and it's looking like the next day might not happen. And I'm saying, isn't there something we can do to get this thing going? But I'm being supportive, of course. It was her pain, seriously, that I was concerned about. And so she did deliver a healthy baby girl. It's out there now. And I think she delivered about 9 o'clock, 8 or 9 o'clock. She was real wiped out after the delivery and was ready to go to sleep an hour later, which worked out real well. Because my dad had the van running out in the hospital parking lot. So I wished her well, and everybody told me that, geez, this is a cakewalk. You just walk up there and there's elk running around, and you grab one by the horn, and that's it. You're on your way. So I thought, okay, I'll be back tomorrow, Linda. Well, it was a little tougher than that, and hunted for 3 days. My hunt was only 5 days long. It was the first time they had run this particular hunt this early in the year, so it was quite a difficult hunt. I was shot after 3 days. About 5 minutes before the deadline that you're allowed to shoot, we had spotted one. I was with a guide, and we had spotted 3 of them coming out of the woods. I was in a 4x4 at the time, and we were coming up over a hill, and we saw these 3 elk come out, and so I'm grabbing my gun, ripping out of the car, and trying to load and shouting to my dad, who's glassing him, to tell me, which one's the biggest one. He tells me that it's the last one in the group, and by this time they're all wheeling around and heading in the other direction. Fortunately, the last one was the last to turn around, so I just leveled my gun, and just as he was turning, and I caught him. Since he was facing me, he was turning, he was in mid-wheel, caught him as he broadsided me on his way out, shot, and he, no reaction whatsoever. Of course, I'm in recoil, so I couldn't see whether I hit it or not. And I had just quick snapshot, and I thought, geez, I missed this opportunity. And now we're going to be out here, and I'm going to have my wife on my back, and no elk. I'm going to lose on every front here in a minute. And I'd asked my dad, did it look like I hit him? And he says, yeah, I think you got him, son. I saw a puff. And I thought, I don't think I got anything. Well, he had gone about 10 feet, and was just acting like nothing had happened, was starting in a full trot, and he just put his head down, stuck his antlers right in the ground, and flipped right over him. Felt the ground shake from 175 yards off as he flipped over. So
and that saga that began 9 months earlier
ended successfully.
Yes, you had no idea 9 months earlier. Well, you were just romping around and thinking you were a big dude. What was going to happen 9 months from then?
Had no idea.
Had no idea. Now, there's an old joke that goes, I won't go through the joke, of course, and I won't have to, but did you name your daughter Broken Waters or Idling Van or
no.
What's her name?
Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie.
We were
That's
told
nice.
Elkie, but,
yeah.
We had to draw the line somewhere.
Okay, well, very good. You did good. What a story. Congratulations, Chris Dunlap. Whoa.
I shot twice and quit, and the guy had hollered, better shoot again.
Well, they do. Oftentimes they stand there for quite a while.
Yeah. And the third shot, finally it went down.
But 730 pounds, you must have got a lot of meat off of that.
Yeah.
Good meat? Is it good?
Excellent. Was 3 years old and donated a lot of meat to the Sportsman's Club, fire department stuff, and if I would knew the meat was as good as it was, I wouldn't have donated quite as much.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes.
No, the meat was excellent. I'm a dairy farmer, and I can pick out my best beef, and this meat is as good as some of my best beef.
Wow, well, that's terrific. Well, Jim, congratulations on that. A 5x5, a tasty 5x5. From Taylor, congratulations on that. I know 6 and 5 is 11. I've already been corrected.
13 points sounds better, though, Fred.
You couldn't be that smart because it took you a long time to figure that out, didn't it?
Shot, I'll kill him. 2 times I missed the night before on one. Hit limbs, brush, whatever. I don't know if I even saw what I was shooting at. It was something else, seeing if elk come out. I never went to Pigeon River to see what one looked like. Went out there, one come out, oh, it was something else. When they bugle, the steam's rolling off their back, you got a little bow and arrow, it's something else. So I missed, and I ate crow. For that whole night, I ate crow. Next morning we went out, we got this one going. My friend missed him. And he come back, he was really mad. His cows were trying to come to the guide, and he gave me a shot at 40 yards, and I finally made a good shot, put him down at 36 paces. He went right down, took him right through the heart.
So that's the first time you saw an elk close up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
So
exciting.
you don't get buck fever out in the mountain either. When you get bull fever out in the mountain, you know what it was like in your shanty here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you should have been up on a mountain. You're down on all four real quick.
Well, very good. Troy?
Well, we lived in the state since 1948, but never been east of Gaylord, so we decided to get a guide because we didn't know the territory. But my son Mike went with me, and 8 o'clock in the morning, and 8:05 it was all over with.
Is that right?
That's
that
right.
easy? Man, look at this. Look at that. Right there. That's a lot of antler. Did you weigh this antler by chance?
32 pounds.
32 pounds. Man, that is something else. Well, for a man that hasn't been east of Gaylord, you ought to try that side of the state.
Yeah, that's great.
There's some good stuff there. Okay, John Van Spronson. Where are you from?
Hudsonville, Michigan.
Hudsonville. Way to go. Look at that. That is a 15-point elk. From Atlanta, up in Montmorency County, the December hunt, Weatherby 7 mag. What's the scoop behind it?
Well, it was kind of funny because opening morning, we got there 5 minutes before time. We walked in, and he was there eating in tall grass, looking right at us. And then we didn't know what way the wind was blowing. We wasn't paying attention, and he picked his head up, winded us, and booked. And we thought we blew it right there for the day. And then we went back in the evening, about 3:30, and I went out in this clear-cut field, and he come out 4:15, and then I nailed him.
The same one. Which one is the better trophy?
Yeah, well,
The bald guy.
yeah, the elk. Sorry, Fred.
No, that's no problem. I'm used to that.
But yeah, the elk was the best. But this was also my first buck in 21 years of hunting.
Your first buck in 21 years of hunting and an elk permit the same year?
Right.
That's awesome. You got the whitetail in Tuscola County up in the Thumb and that up in Montmorency.
Right.
Both of them with the 7 mag?
No, I got deer with the 1187 shotgun.
Ah, very good. Well, you've had one darn good year.
Yeah.
But you still like the elk better. I mean, a 10-point buck, that's a nice
Well,
10-point, too.
well, I'm happy. It don't matter. It don't matter. I'm happy.
You're having them both mounted?
Oh, yeah. I'm having the elk mounted, turned, and tilted back like it's bugling.
Oh, very nice. Well,
Just kind of winged him and went back in, sighted my gun in, and got him after I got it sighted in.
Man alive. How much does this one weigh? Do you know? I mean, the antlers?
No, I have no idea.
I mean, this is really weird, the texture on this. Strange.
They say it's hereditary. It's in the genes.
So, you applied for an elk permit. Was that your idea?
Not really. It was my husband's idea. I'd never shot before, so.
Never hunted?
Never hunted. Had to learn how to shoot. 3 weeks to learn how to shoot.
So what was going through your mind as you were learning all this to go elk hunting?
That I wanted to get the biggest one out there. I didn't, but.
But it was pretty close.
Yeah.
So what's a woman's perspective on elk hunting who's never hunted before?
Well, it was a great experience. It made me see what the hunters really go through because I didn't just put this one down. I had to track him, so it gave me a good idea of what they go through out there.
Now, are you going to deer hunt next year? What's your hunting future?
I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably deer hunt next year. I didn't deer hunt this year. Of course, I didn't have any room in the freezer, so.
Mm-hmm. And you keep rubbing that into all your friends, huh?
Well, not really.
Well, good. So do you have a different perspective on hunting now?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
What was it before?
That they go out there and have a lot of fun. It's really easy, and it's not really.
Oh, it's hardly any fun at all.
No.
Well, I'm glad that you got that point. You ought to come to our camp. We'll show you some good times.
Okay.
Okay. In fact, a lot of people will. Well, good. Congratulations. Adele. 6x7. 6x7. Oh, I'm asking you. Good. 13. Let's do another. We'll do flashcards. 6x7 is 13. Doreen
Bacus.
Bacus. Okay, and you're from?
Ithaca.
From Ithaca. You drew an elk permit this year, and was it your idea?
No.
Whose idea was it?
It was my husband's.
He's on the other end there?
Yeah.
And he didn't get an elk permit.
No.
Do you hunt?
Yes.
Oh, so you're a deer hunter and all, so you were...
Sure.
Oh, okay.
I
mean, sure.
I was ready to go.
Okay. And you said to me before that we should encourage more women to
Yes,
hunt.
most definitely. It's a fun sport, getting out there in the middle of the woods and watching things like this walk by.
Mm-hmm. Have you been successful deer hunting?
Mm-hmm. My first year I got a 5-point, and then this last year I got a 5-point. A real bad-looking 5-point.
But you've been hunting 2 years?
No, I've been bow hunting since '86 and gun hunting since '91.
What do you like better?
Elk.
Elk hunting? Well, that's what you do have here. This is huge. Where's this going to go?
This is going in our parlor on an outside wall, so we have studs to hang it on.
Mm-hmm. Now, does your husband have other little small deer antlers that he's going to put around it to kind of... Does he?
Yeah, something like that.
That'll be cute. Well, very good, Doreen. I hope that you do encourage more women to get into hunting because it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Thank you.
on that. What a deal. Look at that. How did you get into elk hunting?
Well, just by luck. My husband sent my name in for a better chance, and...
Are you a deer hunter?
No.
Are you a rabbit hunter?
No.
Are you a hunter?
No, not really.
So how did you get ready for this hunt?
As children, we shot. My father was a hunter, and my uncles and stuff, so we shot as children.
So when you got that notice in the mail that you were a winner,
Yeah.
what'd you think?
Well, I was real surprised, and so I showed my husband when he got home, and he's like, now they're going to tell you whether you get a bull or a cow. I said, no, I think right here it says hunter's choice. He said, oh my God, you don't understand, you just don't understand, So that's what off to the Atlanta to get him, So,
and he was with you on the whole hunt?
Yep, he followed me step by step all day, and we hunted from in the morning till like 2 o'clock, and we decided to go to lunch and take our strategy or whatever, and went back out, and a friend had seen a big herd in this clearing or whatever, and said, come on, you gotta go. And I said, John's out back, I heard some bulls back there. He said, in the truck, we're going, So we went. They dropped me off in a field in a fire trail. And he said, when you go in there, you'll see the biggest one. He'll be on the left. And sure enough, there he was. There was like 15 cows and two other bulls. And he was the biggest, and he stayed right in the middle. And every step he took, they took. So I had to wait. All I kept thinking was $2,000, $1,500, for each error you make. So I had to wait till I got a shot. And he crossed the fire trail and came by a tree where someone had cut like a Christmas tree or something and left the large stump, and he had to pass behind the stump, and I said the next step he takes, he's mine. So I shot and he fell. So.
No, very good. Was your husband with you during that time?
No.
Would you have preferred that he was?
Sure, yeah, he would have had the camcorder. So yeah, he would have. We had a friend, a cousin was with me. So, and he was very nervous, hitting me, telling me, shoot, aren't you going to shoot? What are you going to do? They're going to leave, aren't you going to shoot? It's getting closer to 5, come on, shoot, so.
There's a lot more tension in those situations than really comes out, isn't there?
Well, yeah, it's excitement, and,
Oh, he's got the camcorder now.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Now
well,
he's
good.
smart. Yeah.
Okay, well that's a great elk, 6x7. You're going to apply next year?
I can't.
You can't for a couple
Right.
years.
For one.
For one. Then you're going to be back into it again.
Oh, yeah. We might as well try.
Okay, well,
Sure.
good. Congratulations, Gail
you.
Pavlik and her big 13-point elk. Super. Raffle, we'll get the deer up here. Oftentimes cut off the skull like that, but what's the strange thing about this one, Paul? You have to get in here with the camera on a close-up, John. Hold it real steady.
Well, I was hunting in a cornfield, Fred, and they only cut the headlands off it, so I had about 30 yards from the time they came out of the woods till the time they went in the corn. And I seen a doe come out, and I thought, boy, I better get ready. And all of a sudden, a deer came out, and his head was right to the ground there. And I could see the antlers, so I quick put up my scope there, my shotgun. I couldn't get him in the scope. I just couldn't get him in the scope, and I had to hurry because 30 yards, and then he was in. And I finally got him in, and I shot, and I thought, boy, I don't know. And so I waited a few minutes, and then I went over there, and nothing. No hair, no blood. I walked down the corn row, rather disgusted that I'd missed, and so I went back and sat down. And then I came out again, and I thought, no, I'm going to look a little farther. I don't like to give up. And then I was sure that I had missed him. What I had done, by then, I was cold, I was wet, it was raining that day, and I decided to walk the ravine back to the house there. And I looked up over the ravine, and here come this deer, just over the ravine, and he was facing right toward me. So I took an angled shot through his chest, hopefully coming out the other way, and I got him. The thing about him was, when I had him checked, he has canine teeth. Now, deers just don't have canine teeth, Fred, but this deer does. The DNR says they've never seen a buck with canine teeth. It's the equivalent of a tusk in an elephant or a walrus. And they said they've looked at thousands of deer and have never seen, and he has two.
One on that side.
One on this side. He's a 1.5-year-old deer, and then they started teasing me. They said he's either crossed with a vampire or a warthog. So that's my vampire buck.
Interesting. Deer with canine teeth. Never seen anything like that before. You can have that mounted with the mouth open snarling or what?
I used hot glue, and otherwise the jaw would fall off.
Okay, so you're gonna. This is the mount right here.
That
So
guy
you
with
can
the
see.
bear, you can tell him to use hot glue and
Hot
put
glue
his
and
tooth.
hold those teeth in. Well, very good, Paul. Congratulations on that. Good deal. For a 6-point, Jackson County with a bow, 65-pounder on opening morning, 7:15.
Yes, sir.
What was the story here? Did you have them staked out beforehand?
Well, it wasn't opening morning, it was opening evening.
Oh, 7:15 p.m.
Right.
Okay.
I want to thank Don Odell and David Brandon for tracking this thing for me. I'd never found it without them. I had a raccoon come out of my foot. He sat there and stared at me, and I got kind of scared because I'm a city slick, and I didn't know what the raccoon was going to do.
I mean, he was touching your foot?
He was sitting right by my foot, and he just looked up and was chatting at me, and so I got kind of scared, and I saw this guy flash, and I saw something shiny, and I looked at it, and he walked right out in front of me. I drew my bow back, looked at him, and I took one last peek at this raccoon, and I looked back up, and the buck was still there, so I let go, and I kind of took a butt shot on him. We tracked him for about 1.5 miles through Briar Field. That's why I needed the expert trackers there.
But you got this 6-point with a 23-inch spread, and what happened to the raccoon?
Yeah, it beats me.
You mean it took off when you shot?
Yeah, I did, because the next thing I know it was gone.
I tell you, that's something else. That's a story behind this 6-point shot with a raccoon on his foot, Rocky Raccoon. Matt Burrow, congratulations on that. The story we didn't hear on Big Buck. Hillsdale County, opening morning with a Mossberg 512 gauge. What's the story behind it?
Well, my brother and I and a friend of mine, Rick, we were hunting down in Hillsdale. We bow hunt together. And at the end of the bow hunting season, we were down in this area. My brother was telling me he's seen a big buck roaming around, and he pointed me out. I had a stand picked out in the timber, and he pointed out a place to hunt on this edge of this grassy meadow. And I just listened to him. I just went over and he said, you should hunt right around here and sit down. And I found a tree and I put my bucket up. I had a swivel seat bucket. I was just sitting there at about 8:30. Someone nearby shot a buck and I thought I was done, that I wasn't going to get one. And I just was kind of getting comfortable. I had those hand warmer things that keep your hand warm, and I just slipped them into my gloves, and I go to sit back down on my seat, and I made this big noise because I didn't have the seat back down all the way. And I was just convinced I had blown it, and I just, instead of looking at the river, I turned the seat around, and right coming in on the back side of this grassy area was this buck. And when I seen him, oh boy, I was excited. And I had I use these copper solid slugs and with a scope on my shotgun, and I put it on him and I shot him. When I hit him, I just was so focused on watching him, I didn't realize, but after I shot him and he started to run, there was another buck had come in, a nice one, not quite as big as this one, but he was a beauty, and I seen two of them at one time, but that's my story. And one thing, I'd like to say thanks to my wife and my daughter Jennifer and Julie, because I go for 2 weeks. I take 2 weeks off to get the bow and the gun season in, and it's right when my birthday is. So just say thank you to them.
So every year it's kind of a thank you
for
going hunting.
year.
Hey, and you did good this year.
Thanks
Congratulations, Mike Leshkovich.